Like, I don't fucking care anymore. And the way, and one of my favorite villains, the way she went out, oh my God. I'm just like, really?
And that right there, folks, is the beginning of this episode of the Moistcast talking about episode 5 of Game of Thrones. You just had raw reaction there from Jeff the Iron Wolf. Didn't tell him I was taking it live right there.
Yeah, I got no problems.
Needed the raw reaction there. We're going to talk about this season of Game of Thrones so far, episodes 1 through 5, and just our memories of seasons 1 through 6, 1 through 7, and just break it down, see what we got, some of our thoughts on it. And joining me today, as you have just heard, is when we talk Game of Thrones, I call him Jeff the Dire Wolf, but check out his channel, Jeff the Iron Wolf.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey, I've just done a couple of videos between Star Wars, the Scene 38 reaction, and 2 videos covering about 19 minutes on me just going on freaking tirades about this last episode. So check it out.
Yes, including a very fresh one last night that he did pretty much right after the episode. Make sure to check that out. And joining me as always, and who joined me last night on the pre-show, is the super fan, the man with a lot of wiener dogs, Adam Tryon.
Hey, always an honor and privilege to be here with you wonderful gentlemen to discuss our feelings on getting raped by Game of Thrones.
No. Mr. Adam Shawhan, let me put you in this a better perspective. A buddy of mine, when we were in the Marines, came up with the rod of Uncle Sam. You take a big, rusty cast iron 10-foot rod, you dump it in the heaviest glue you got, and you just run it through shards of everything that hurts. You bend over and you just take that bitch right up the pooper with no lube. That's what we got last night.
It sounds quite painful.
Welcome to the rod of Uncle Sam.
Well, I say last night, the penultimate, I can't say that freaking word, episode of Game of Thrones.
I can't even say it either.
Yeah. Basically, it's supposed to be the most climactic episode, although I still never believed that you can top the Red Wedding, honestly, in shock value and story value. Last night, we get the bells, the episode. We have, starting in the beginning, we have, basically Tyrion turning in. Oh, spoiler alert, we are talking diehard spoilers. Obviously, the name of this stream is GOT Recap. Where does the finale lead? So we're going to talk a little bit about the season, where we've got how we've got here, and then what to expect. Now, a couple of us have read the spoilers that we are pretty much guaranteed to know what happens. But we can just see, how did we get here, basically.
It's real simple. It's real simple, Mr. Moist.
Yeah.
Benny, Hop, and Weiss don't give a fuck, and they just want to get out of this as fast as humanly possible, and they don't care about the fallout. That is literally the bare bones how we got here.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's getting around. There's a lot of it's getting around now that HBO is like, oh, we'll give you we have the financing, we'll give you all the money you need for the next 2 seasons, 2 full seasons.
Benny Hop and Weiss said no. Yeah. And Benny Hop and Weiss basically said, no, we want the hell out of here. We want to get this done as quickly as possible.
If that is true, they should have just relinquished being the writers and given it to Miguel Sapochnik and David Nutter. Let them freaking write and direct the whole thing. They'll do just as good, if not better than what they will. If your heart ain't in this, you freaking have. This is a show that it's not just a U.S. It's a global phenom.
And the thing is, this is Benny Hop and Weiss's claim to fame, and they're just going out with such a thud.
Yeah, it's and the thing is, whenever Emilia Clarke and whenever she talked about Daenerys Targaryen, she's like, yeah, how do you feel? Or whatever. She's like, oh, I'm just afraid, about people's lasting, taste of what Daenerys Targaryen will be and stuff like that. It's like, oh, I get what you mean now. I understand.
Well, or when Kit Harington said, if they ask Kit Harington, what can you say about this season in one word? He's like, disappointed.
Yeah. At first, I've been sidelined this whole season, basically.
Oh, it's been fucking terrible. John's like, this is something that Doomcock and Neurotic said. What did you bring him back for?
It's like, yeah, no, it's like, okay, you brought him back basically to basically lead a disastrous battle of bastards, and then, you know, basically just one-on-one beat Ramsey so Sansa can kill him, and then I don't know, that's about it.
King of the North to bend
It's
the
like,
knee to a mad woman.
Here's what I think. I think D.B. Weiss and D.B. Benninghoff checked out whenever Jon Snow left the Night's Watch saying, "My watch is ended." It's like D&D said, "My writing has ended." At the same
Yeah, and the thing is, this is something I've said in my videos. I hope George R. R. Martin is taking notes of what not to do with the books.
Oh, I think even if he has the outcomes that happen, he'll have the ability to slow it down and flush it out in the books. I think what's going on right now can be flushed out. I mean, in the books right now, Jon Snow is still dead. We're still back at season 5 in the books.
Yeah.
So I mean, he has enough time, and he said the next book will be a lot bigger than Dance of Dragons, which is over 1,000 pages. He said it will be much bigger than that. So I'm guessing 1,200, 1,300 pages. And
holy shit,
Dream of Spring will be just about the same. So I'm like, you know, it could have the same outcome, even if what we think will happen next week happens. But I think in the books, it could be much more satisfactory because he will take the time to flush it out. Like I said, this episode that happened tonight, I feel like it could be 200 to 300 pages in a book, and with multiple perspectives. As he writes books, but you know, we don't know if we're gonna get them.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with the season so far. We've had a lot of sitting around, tying up and doing character things, and then the two big battles we were promised have just been terrible. I mean, here, let's talk about one of the big elephants in the room, the Battle of Winterfell. I am actually still working on the breakdown of what the hell went wrong in the Battle of Winterfell as episode 1 and episode 2 of how I would fix it. Boy, the Battle of Winterfell, oh my God, tactically and strategically on the part of the living was so bad. They didn't deserve to win.
Yeah, no, that's what it's like. Why would you have 100,000 cavalry in your front? And also your trebuchets, your artillery should be in the back, hidden away. And you should have a siege tactic where you should be throwing those things out there to weaken them. Then
better yet.
Then as your army, the army that Undead's attacking, hit them from the flanks with your cavalry.
Well, not only that, your castle of Winterfell creates bottlenecks and complete kill zones.
It's what
the courtyard
is
a gigantic kill zone for your dragons that they really don't need. I mean, you don't need much reference on.
No,
even in the big of that snowstorm, you fly low enough, you're gonna see Winterfell. Let them get into the middle, call down the dragon fire, mow them down.
Oh, Ned Stark said in season 1 and in the books that 500 men could defend Winterfell against 10,000. Easy.
Yeah.
And they had more than 500 men there. So
Winterfell is a labyrinth. Draw the undead in. They're stupid. They're mindless. Throw them in the kill zone and just crush them. It wasn't take very many men. I mean, just their entire setup. I mean, they fought trying like they're going to fight an army of the living and then suddenly realized, oh shit, this isn't going to work against the dead.
Yeah. But hey, in the chat, Exaggeration Nation, thanks for hopping in here. Love to hear your thoughts on last night's episode. Let us know here in the chat. Adam Shawhan, I say we haven't talked really since a little bit, texted a little bit today about it, but how about you let us know your feelings on last night's episode?
That's what I got to say. I mean, it literally, so far we've had 5 episodes that could have all been done in one. I mean, at the rate they're going, they should have just been like, all right, we're going to do one more episode. That's it. Here you guys go. We're done. Peace out.
Yeah, I mean, Doomcock and Neurotic said it best. It's like they're phoning it in. And the thing that bugs me the most is after the episode with Benioff and Weiss, and they're trying to defend their actions, and it's oh my God, it hurts. It hurts. Oh, the stupid! It hurts.
Well, especially the episode 4. I think they really doomed them. But Exaggeration Nation, yeah, back and forth. Yeah, no, I actually watched it twice last night. Like I said, the first time I watched it, I kind of just turned my brain off and was just like, I'm just going to watch this essentially for entertainment. I know the story's probably going to be so rushed or whatever. Turning your brain off and just looking at it at entertainment value, I enjoyed it. But as a diehard Game of Thrones fan and really going back and considering the story and just all the plot holes, how Euron Greyjoy once again just conveniently shows up as a plot hole filler, basically, and things like that, and how all of a sudden, the Scorpions lost their aimbot. A lot of that doesn't make sense, and the fact that Drogon is more powerful in this episode than Balerion the Dread in the lore with Aegon's conquest. That's whenever I was like, no, this was really bad. So as entertainment value, I liked it. Just being like, if I just turned it on, not knowing anything about Game of Thrones, I might have been just like, oh, cool. That was a lot of big battle. That was a lot of just a town getting blown up. Some guy got burned by a dragon in the beginning. That was cool. But when you really care about the story, when you look back at it, I think that, obviously there's a lot of elements in this episode that could have been flushed out by prior events. But the thing is, they weren't. They were lazily written. And that's something that we're not going to get back, unfortunately, unless George finishes the books, which would be great.
This was, again, it was just Winterfell disappointment on steroids for me.
Hey, at least we could see it.
Yeah, good point.
Well, the thing is, the one thing about the Battle of Winterfell, come on. You're talking about some of the worst conditions. That could have been shot in the middle of the day. The minute that blizzard rolled in, to quote Han Solo, instead of a big dark blur, you just have a big light blur.
Yep.
I'm sorry. In the conditions they were in, you weren't really going to see shit. That was the point.
Yeah, and he brings the storm.
Yeah, that's like that. Those conditions, even in modern day military, are probably some of the worst conditions you could ever find yourself in. Because I can tell you right now, most of our modern technology in a blizzard like that would be about worthless. Infrared.
Well, I have a friend that he's a fighter pilot right now, and he's like, anytime we got cloudy conditions, he's like, I fucking hate it.
Well, let's put it to you this way: infrared, you can't see the undead, so infrared's useless. Night vision, all you're gonna see is green and white and nothing else.
Yep.
Radar, yeah, toss that out the window. Sonar ain't gonna work. Your sensors, yeah, they'll detect something, but they're gonna be localized in the general area. But outside of that, you're not gonna know shit. You can't use trip flares because you can't see shit past about 50 feet. I mean. It was literally some of the worst conditions, and people are bitching, I can't see anything. That's the fucking point. So on that one, I got to give it to the writers of, with the conditions you put us in, I'm not going to sit there and bitch about there's no light. It's at night in the middle of a blizzard.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I watched it. I had all my lights out. I could see things pretty good for the most part. But there's still some points where I was like, I'm not sure what's going on. I might see in the special features, I'll probably get more what's going on. But go back to what you had said there with the inside the episode thing, and I'll go to Adam next here. I feel like right now, I don't know if you have watched the inside the episodes afterwards, Adam.
Yes,
but
I
feel like the inside the episodes right now are more of a damning thing instead of that cool insider look into how the episode was made.
As like an excuse. Oh, we fucked up. Here's our excuse and why. Danny's this way because she's been alone by herself for 3-4 days and, she feels that's what she's got to do. No, she just said, fuck it, I'm going to kill them all. She didn't listen to Tyrion
for
anymore.
no logical reason. This is the same woman in seasons 3, 4, and 5 who has freed almost every slave in Slaver's Bay. And she's going to go around and kill everybody in King's Landing. Explain the logic here, because I'm lost.
Hey, the way I looked at it, she said she wanted to break the wheel. Well, she broke it by doing the same as everyone in the past, every other Targaryen.
Yeah, and that whole thing about the start of the episode when a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin to see if it's like that was decided a long time ago. Why are we suddenly reflipping the coin?
Yeah.
Yep. I think it literally, as we've said, it's just them hurrying up to get done. All right, we're contracted. We got to do 6. Let's do 6. Let's get it done. Let's hurry the fuck up. Let's throw a bunch of CGI and bullshit in there. Doesn't matter if the story ain't good. They're going to love seeing shit burn down because we wanted to see the 3 dragons burn fucking King's Landing to the ground. Back in, what was it? Season 3? 2? 3?
Yeah.
So they're fulfilling it, but we're going to do it with one dragon. He's the bestest, most bestest dragon ever because he's the last stand. Now, at least we didn't get a fuck ton of dragons like we heard, because that would have been even worse, in my opinion. Yeah. I didn't need 27 more fucking dragons.
Well, Mr. Shawhan.
Can I, in the chat here, Exaggeration Nation made a good point here. What just about with Dany being the Mad Queen or whatever. How many times throughout the story has she threatened to burn down cities? I mean, back earliest season 2, when she shows up at Karth for the first time, she threatens to burn it down and then pretty much almost the majority of the cities that she showed up to, she's threatened basically the Masters or the
but she has. But when she gets her way, she lets them live.
Exactly.
She turns around and leaves.
For Marine.
Well, even in Marine, that was the slaves uprising and killing their own masters. And in Slaver's Bay, when Tyrion was trying to talk to him and then they get attacked, she's like, all she did was wipe out the attacking forces, and that was it. It's not like she went on a rampage and destroyed Marine.
Yeah, and I say at the end of Marine, which is the same episode of the Battle of the Bastards, she has two of the 3 of the Masters killed, and the one saved. And Tyrion says to that guy, he's like, "Hey, tell everybody how merciful our queen was for you." The Exaggeration Nation says some of her first instincts were, more aggression, burn them all, but she was talked down. And, looking at it, Missandei, she's gone, Jorah's gone, Barristan Selmy's gone, and she does not really trust Tyrion anymore. Varys is gone. So
didn't trust Varys.
I can see, I honestly, I always thought that Daenerys would become the Mad Queen, but I just didn't think that it would happen faster that Anakin Skywalker became Darth Vader.
Yeah, I mean, it's like basically she just decided to flip a switch in her head and just not turn it off. But again, I go back.
Like I feel like the bells would have been like if they. I wish the bells would have meant more. Like I keep trying to think back and I'm going to reread the books as soon as the series is over. I'm like, there's got to be a meaning with the bells that just clicked in her mind of like a PTSD thing that she never had, but it's just like a legend in her family. That's like you hear the bells and it's just like it's just rage.
I think she just didn't give a fuck. It came from Tyrion. They're surrendering, and she's just like, "Yeah, fuck this. I'm gonna kill them all."
Yeah,
I think she saw. No, the thing is, she looked up, she saw the Red Keep, and she just remembered everything that had taken her, and it was like the personification. This is what Weiss said. Basically, the Red Keep was the personification of everything she lost, and she just snapped. Even though, the city was surrendering.
Yeah. Now, I will say, one of the most badass moments of this episode is whenever Drogon burns down the front gate.
When he takes out the gold company. But the thing is, it's like we had the vaunted gold company, and Daenerys destroys it in like a minute flat.
Oh, yes. I honestly, like seeing the gold company just get wrecked was hilarious. But how the hell did so many Dothraki show up? Where the hell did they come from?
Well, she only lost about half of them. She didn't lose the entire horde.
Oh, it just seems like we only had like 3 or 4 Dothraki that survived.
Yeah, but the funny part is that we actually saw a proper cavalry charge against the infantry and them break through. It's like, yeah, this is what happens when you use them against a living army that actually has something called fear.
Oh, and the thing is, and they wrecked the Lannisters last year.
Yeah. But no, this was.
Yeah, the Golden Company, yeah, it sucked ass. I mean, it was it was
Danny just destroyed all the defenses, and like it was said by Neurotic, 7.5 minutes flat. Like the plot armor was real. Drogon was just unstoppable.
But well, the thing is, too, I mean, I'll be honest. As this was happening in real time, when I was watching it, I was literally sitting in my house saying, "Burn them all, burn the fucking Lannisters." I'm like, burn them all, just burn it all. Like I was just like, tear it down, not from a stance of a story point. Just for me, of my frustration with the freaking, I'm thinking the Red Wedding. I'm thinking all this stuff as just a fan. I'm like, burn it. Like, just burn it. Like, this is Cersei here. These are the same damn people that cheered Ned Stark's head to get cut off. Burn it down. And then whenever it's like they surrendered, it's like, all right, calm down. And then
but that's when the Grey Worm.
Like, I was even like, okay, cool. But like when the Golden Company was getting wrecked, I'm like, yes. Kill them all. I don't care. In the north and the Northmen, the Unsullied are storming, the Dothraki are storming, ripping the Lannisters to shreds. I'm like, this is awesome. Let's go. And then
and then they go into debauchery. I know. And the thing that
I'm like, wait. They're surrendering. Calm down. Let them surrender. Make Cersei come out, and then then take her.
Yeah, but the thing is, like Danny goes berserk, and then Grey Worm is just like, okay, rage mode activated, and I'm gonna kill 100 people solo.
Well, and then he looks back at Jon Snow, being like, "Oh, you aren't doing this."
But the thing is, it was like watching the army of the North and the army of the living that had just offended the world is now raping, pillaging, and murdering, and it's like, fucking really?
Yeah, and John basically has to stop. He kills one of them.
Yeah, he kills one of his own men.
Yeah, and then finally he pulls them out, and then they all retreat. But can't say that for the Unsullied, at least. I mean,
well, that's the thing.
And it's just a look on Jon Snow's face of just the disbelief of, I can't believe this is happening. It's like, Jon, you let this happen.
Yeah.
Oh, so bad.
It's like Varys was right.
The Lannister army that was the enemies in the beginning end up being damn near the anti-hero good guys trying to save the people. Meanwhile, everybody's getting slaughtered. It had twists and turns, and like I said, shock value, sure, but the storyline still fucking sucked. At the end of the day, everything that we've watched for 8 years
has basically just been thrown right out the fucking window.
Hell yeah. Okay. Our favorite little girl who's grown up, killed millions of people, and then just decides, okay, I'm going to go away now. What the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, we finally got the Mountain and the Hound, but that sucked. I'd have rather had a half hour of them fighting.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed the Mountain versus the Clegane Bowl, I guess we'll call it here. Before we go into the Clegane Bowl, let's Mary, thanks for stopping in. If you don't want too many spoiler. Well, we're spoiler heaven here, so make sure you keep watchful listen, I guess. If you don't want too many spoilers, but Exaggeration Nation once again, he was pissed how easily he tore up the Iron Fleet. How the hell did he not do that last week? Did Drogon suddenly grow a pair of balls? That's it. That's another question that I think a lot of us have. Danny literally was taking on the Iron Fleet last night, or not last night, last week, and pulled them off, and everybody missed their arrows. I think Drogon gets shot at once this episode by the entire Iron Fleet and by all the ballistas on King's Landing, which there was like one every 10 yards, it seemed like. And Drogon just tears everything apart. And like I said, for Valerion the Dread to defeat Harrenhal, the most powerful castle in Westeros, It took them over a night to melt the walls. It takes Drogon, like what'd you say, 7 minutes, Jeff, for him to take down a city of 1 million people.
Yep, by himself, mind you.
Yes. So, and on the ground, you're looking at the Unsullied, the Northmen, the Dothraki attacking the city itself, but they weren't going to get in the city, breach the walls without Drogon's help and all that. But Drogon, basically, you just saw the OP supervillain, I guess, or the overpowered hero. Tons of plot armor right now, and on my rewatch right now, I'm actually at the part where Danny goes mad. And I'm trying to really, like, in live time, like, I'm looking at this. It's like Drogon faces the Red Keep. Cersei's looking at Drogon right now, and Daenerys. Tyrion is hoping for the bells. Tyrion looks at Daenerys on Drogon. Daenerys is looking around, starting to get pissed. Cersei's looking there like, please do this. And she starts to shake. Daenerys is looking shook. Cersei gulps like, oh shit. Here's my narration of the scene. Bell's not ringing. Tyrion's terrified. And the bell rings. Relief on the part of Tyrion and Jon. Cersei accepts defeat in that moment. Well, it looks like she does. I mean, with Cersei, you can never tell. But Tyrion looks up at Daenerys, squints, kind of frowns. Daenerys almost looks like she's going to start to cry. But she's looking at her. She's staring straight at the Red Keep. All right. So she's like, ugh. She grunts. And then basically tells Drogon to go and Dracarys. So it's almost like I could see that moment right there would have been so powerful if we had 2 to 3 more episodes to build up her hate for Cersei and her hate for King's Landing and the Red Keep. That would have been powerful. Like right there, I'm like, I could see it. Like Emilia Clarke, props to her. Her acting was incredible. All the actors this season, I have nothing against them. I think the acting this season has been some of the best that we've seen in the show.
Spot on.
But the thing is, props to them. They're doing the most that they can with what they're given. And I mean, Jeff, what's your thoughts on this here with like the acting?
Yeah, sorry about the background noise. Okay.
No worries.
My wife just picked me up, but that whole sequence, it was, for me, the bell started ringing, the city is surrendering, the Lannister army's throwing down. I'm like, all right, battle over, let's throttle down. And Danny goes, fuck this, game on. At first, you see the dragon taking off. I mean, maybe she's going up to the Red Keep to demand Cersei surrender right there. And all of a sudden, you see the dragon put his head down, and we're off to the races.
And I'll tell you, like Jeff, like when you'll hopefully eventually you'll watch this again, like on a rewatch of the series or whatever. But like as I watched it right there and was just talking about it, like I was really looking at Daenerys' reactions, and Emilia Clarke played that perfectly. It's like just the subtle movements of her lip, like her lips, her eyes, just how they're looking, just like the subtle, like that
she goes from is this over? Is this over? She hears the bells ringing, and then she just gets that snarl.
It's like eyes on the Red Keep. And if you look on that, her eyes are constantly looking to the right of the screen, which they did set up in a prior shot with her looking at the Red Keep, which is over to her right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like her eyes never leave the Red Keep until they leave and Drogon takes off. But I was like, I'm thinking, my God, if we had, just what Exaggeration Nation said, if we had a couple more episodes in here to tie up and resolve some of the storylines, if we would have had a few more episodes to build Daenerys up to be that Mad Queen, seeing her have that reaction and having her just stare at the keep and being like, no, fuck this. I am tearing it all down. That would have been so much more satisfying.
And the thing is, though, she didn't need to tear down the entire city. All she had to do was destroy the Red Keep.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Cliff Note version though. She.
Well,
don't
hey, can
trust
I just say,
Tyrion.
as a Minnesota Vikings fan, I just watched Aaron Rodgers get burned. So, whoo. Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers quarterback, has a cameo appearance in here where he's a civilian that is running away from Drogon's fire, and he turns into an alleyway and gets burned. So, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, having my rival team's quarterback get burned on air is all right with me.
Hey, Mr. Moist, question for you. You know who Jared Allen is?
Oh, yeah.
I know him personally.
No way.
I went to high school. I was a year behind him.
He is the ultimate number 69 defensive end.
Yeah. Funny story. We'll go get a little sidetracked off of Game of Thrones. I was playing practice. He was a senior. I was a junior. He was running a wing reverse as a tight end. I happened to be the free safety that had to be the tackling dummy. He hit me so hard. He flipped me and spun me in midair.
Good God. Dude, he was a freak when he played.
Oh, he's a beast.
Oh, he was awesome.
Absolutely. And the thing is,
mustache.
And the thing is, though, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
That's what he is. He does like a big charity up in Minnesota and all that stuff. Like,
he's just a nice guy. But yeah, I know Jared Allen personally.
That is awesome.
And I also know Trent Edwards. He played for the Buffalo Bills for a few years. Yep. He was a year behind me in high school.
Oh, damn, that is awesome.
So yeah, I know a couple of guys in the NFL.
I met Saquon Barkley before, but that was about it for me right now. Gigantic man. But
I'm sorry, I'm taking my dogs out and just got home.
Well, no, that's okay.
I'm doing all of this on my cell phone, so good cell phone.
All right, well, hey, Exaggeration Nation, thanks for stopping in, bud. Make sure you check out 9:30. Exaggeration Nation is going to do a Game of Thrones recap stream. Make sure you guys check out his stream coming up here in just a little over half an hour. We'll probably be ending here within half an hour, so hopefully you guys can be able to check that out.
Yep. Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, sorry. I'm just.
But looking at this episode is well, actually, here, let's just talk about Cersei. This is someone we really haven't talked a whole lot about yet in this stream. Cersei. So, obviously, we've seen Cersei and Jaime die, and people are like, "Oh, we can't confirm it." No, their Instagrams, Nikolai Coster-Waldau and Lena Headey, both posted touching tributes to each other and their characters with Jaime and Cersei. So I'm pretty sure that is a wrap on Jaime Lannister and Cersei Lannister. So we have one surviving Lannister in Tyrion. I hope Tyrion survives. But what did you guys think of the ending of Cersei and Jaime? And Jaime, we can do a sidetrack with Euron and his fight. But what did you guys think of how they ended?
It was absolutely terrible for one of the best villains ever put to paper or fantasy. Cersei was probably one of my favorite villains. She was a character you loved to hate, and how she went out with a whimper instead of a roar was a complete disservice to the character.
I think so.
How she just stood there and just watched. She didn't have, the trump card. She had all that witch fire, and she could have threatened, I will blow up every person. And we could have had the threat scenario, and then Danny get pissed like, well, screw it, I'll burn down the city anyways. I could have lived with that even.
Yeah.
But Cersei just went, she's a lion who went out with a whimper screaming, I want to live, I want my child to live. And she's just like, you're just realizing this now?
It almost made her more empathetic than, the good person throughout the whole series, which is the good guy, which what you would classify in this fight would have originally been Danny. You felt more for Cersei than you did for Danny.
Yeah, but it was just a total disservice to the character. She went out instead of, rage against the dying of the light. She went out with a fucking whimper, and it was pathetic.
Well, and not necessarily pathetic, but like her mother instinct came out there. Like, I want the child to live, and you could say she was thinking about the Lannister bloodline because that is it. and, unless Tyrion has a child. But that's it. The Lannisters are dead. And, let's talk Jaime here, too. Adam, what did you think of Jaime? Yeah, Jaime and Euron's fight that I'm watching literally right now. And we also had Jaime going back to Cersei after basically fulfilling a bunch of what I feel like is just fan service now with Jaime and Brienne.
I didn't like it. I was a big fan of Jaime being the one that killed Cersei as he was wounded. He got wounded. I was ecstatic. I'm like, okay, so he's a living dead man. He's walking. We know he's dying. He's not fucking living through this shit.
I was saying, he took like 2 or 3 stabs to the back to his back.
Yeah, he's fucked. He's done. He's dead.
He was skewered.
He even knew
he was skewered.
Well, even when he first saw Cersei, when they were talking and like she embraced him, she's like, "You're bleeding," and what? Like she's like, "You're bleeding." It's like you looked at him and like credit to Nikolai Coster-Waldau. It's like he put it on his face. He's like, "I know I'm dead."
Yeah.
No.
The thing is, he should have never made it. With those wounds, he should have never even made it to Cersei. He should have bled out long before he make it.
Yeah, there's no way.
I enjoyed their fight. I'm glad that Jaime killed him, but I still would have brought Jaime all the way around to having given, knighted. Jesus, my mind just went blank. The girl he knighted.
Brienne.
Thank you. Brienne. So he knighted her, and for him to have taken Cersei out would have been him coming all the way around. Instead, they're holding each other, and we're believing that they're all dead. Obviously, that's what we're thinking. Then you got people saying, well, maybe not, but we'll find out in an episode. But yeah, I'd have preferred seeing him actually take her ass out, or at least having her get ate by a dragon would have been cool. To see Cersei, basically just bitch out at the very end, which she could have last episode just surrendered and left. Or I love Tyrion's idea. Take her, go away, live together, just live. You're the only one that was ever there for me. You didn't think of me as a monster. That was heartfelt and touching. But then when you get Cersei and Jaime together, I just didn't give a fuck. I'm like, really? You're the coldest bitch on the planet that's just been killing motherfuckers left and right for the Iron Throne. Watched all your kids die. You're pregnant by Jaime, we're assuming. And then now that you're stuck in a hole where you can't go nowhere, now you want everything to go the other way, and you guys get buried in rubble. Great. Just...
I'm anxious to see if next episode, if they have like a thing where they find their bodies.
Maybe, but you know what was really annoying? We have to get the Clegane Bowl. Was watching Sandor Clegane knock out Oliver Kingsguard, watch that one little pissant get killed by the mountain, and he just lets her scurry on by, not even just one quick swipe to get it done. Yeah. It was just like, she's like, I don't even fucking care about you, just go. It's like,
yeah, but the last
man
episode,
hates.
But can we also enjoy the one death of Qyburn? That was hilarious.
Yes.
Mountain just fucking crushes him.
I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, yes.
Loved it.
I mean, I hate Qyburn. But
him
here's the thing, though.
That was great. But
the personification.
The mountain letting her go goes back to him telling Arya, man, just go home. A dragon will eat her. Something will happen. She's dead. Don't worry about it. Just go. So I think in that aspect, just from his lines, he didn't give a fuck about her. He was there for one thing, to fight his older brother and kill his older brother. He didn't give a shit about Cersei. That was it. He wanted to kill him. And I would have given more. I'd have loved to see more of a half hour of the two of those guys fighting than the shit we got in the hour and 20, however many minutes it was, of garbage that we got shoved down our throats.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I think I will call him Sandor Clegane from now on, the Hound. I feel like he has had one of the better character arcs for the whole series. And I think Arya calling him Sandor was a good moment for him to say, you're not the Hound, you're a human being, which he hasn't been treated as pretty much throughout the entire season, the entire series. Yep. I think that was something. I think there are a couple good moments in the episode. I think that was one of the few good moments where Arya says to him, Sandor, thank you. because he had a damn big part in keeping Arya alive. And now, and we saw how important Arya plays out. But
moments that I liked were that where it was Arya and Clegane, Varys and Tyrion. Tyrion put it in his hand.
Moment. When he puts his arm up on him, it was like, he like tells him it was me. It's like, I enjoyed Tyrion and Jaime's goodbye too.
Yep.
Basically, and it was just basically Tyrion. And the thing is, Jaime, like, basically, Jaime was just like, I'm just a bad guy or whatever. And Tyrion's like, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. And like, I actually I didn't like tear up, but I was like on the verge of it, just with how like you could tell that just the acting, like you could tell it's like they were there. It's like they were in the moment. And like thinking back, when you think back about it, Tyrion is constantly being shit upon by his father, by the rest of his family, and everyone else. But who was the one person to always defend him in the worst of times in season 4, when he was being put on trial? It was still Jaime. And so that was, I think that was a beautiful moment. So, we'll give credit where credit is due. There are a few good moments, but unfortunately, the bad moments heavily outweigh those good moments.
None. Sorry, wife's asking me a question, guys.
No problem.
But yeah, I mean, there were too few good moments and too many bad moments. Now, I have to also dig into my favorite character on the show, and that's Arya, and the unbelievable plot armor she got throughout the entire episode once she had to escape from the Red Keep.
No, I couldn't believe it.
Especially at the end when she finds that damn horse and rides off, I'm like, that was plot armor of the gods.
Yeah. And people were saying that that's Bran. What? Bran just warped into a horse? Like, what's going on here? I don't know.
The power of the almighty tuna box.
Yeah, I literally just watched that and was like, at first you think, oh, Arya's actually going to bite it. And then you have a little bit of fear, and then it's just plot armor. I was like, okay, I can't take this seriously anymore.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like I was telling you, Mr. Moist, before we started, was when she first got up, I'm like, okay, she's not burned around the head and her face. Maybe like her arms or legs, or she's like been seriously burned. And they pull out from her. It's like, you have got to be shitting me. Everything around her is charbroiled. That was divine intervention from the many-faced god that she got out without a singed hair on her head.
And the thing is, like, it would be, I'd love to see that if we got that explained, but we have 80 minutes of Game of Thrones left, and there's so much that I would like to be explained that I'm just like, you know what? For this finale coming up here, I'm just going to sit back and just kind of like what I did this episode. I'm going to turn my brain off. Whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to try to enjoy it for the 80 minutes that we have. And then after it, I'll rewatch it, and then I'll go back and be like, oh my God, so much better.
Now,
but
you know what my reaction is going to be? My expectation for this last episode, I expect the very, very worst. I expect this to be the biggest FU to the fans.
Yeah.
And I know that going in, so I'm not going to be shocked when it happens. And if that
same.
spoiler is true, I'm just going to be like, oh God, I just can't. I can't believe it. I will believe it, but it'll just be like, you could have done so much better. In fact, I just saw this meme on Facebook, and hold on, let me pull it up right here because it's.
Yeah. Well, while you're pulling it up here, there was some good symbolism that I think I just saw.
Okay, here we go. It's the scene where Pippin in Return of the King is talking to Gandalf as they're sitting there waiting for the fight in Gondor. It says it has Pippin, God of Game of Thrones fans, last night episode, and then in gold on Pippin's head it says, "I didn't think it would end this way." And then it has Gandalf, Lord of the Rings fans, on his head. Poor writing is just another path, one that all franchises must take, except for Lord of the Rings, laughing out loud. Lord of the Rings is a fucking masterpiece.
Well, Well, no matter what, even with the last episode, this whole season has sucked balls.
Oh.
And the way I see it, I am still a fan, even though this season has sucked. It's not enough for me to not like and or go back and then actually read all the books once they're done.
Oh, I say I the amount of times that I will rewatch this entire series in the future, I would hate to know because it probably will be many. And the fact that I'm already planning on rereading the books, I have the World of Ice and Fire book. I'm reading Fire and Blood right now. I'm, constantly every day looking for updates on Winds of Winter. This series does not affect my fandom of Game of Thrones, but what it has taught me is what poor writing can do to a beloved global series.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And it's something that, seeing what happens here in the show, even if the same things happen in the books, I have the faith that George, with all the time that he has been taking since the past 8 years of the last book, he'll be able to flush these events out to make them more powerful, and to make to see Arya stumbling through the streets, or learning how Daenerys becomes the Mad Queen, and John realizing who she is, things like that. I feel like I have the hope yet that in books that it will still get explained, and I hope that we do get the books eventually. But before I want to say quick, I did see some symbolism here rewatching that. I thought I saw it last night. Was whenever Jaime and Cersei first see each other, they're in the map room in the Red Keep, and the Red Keep it starts to crumble a little bit while they're in there. And if you look closely on that map, there's a big crack that goes through right through Westeros. That crack goes right at the border of the North. So it's like the North is separated from the South. So it's like the Riverland South is separate, and then the North is its own thing. So I'm like, that could be very good, subtle symbolism for what might be to come. But I, at this point, don't want to credit D.B. Weiss and D.B. Benninghoff for that. I just want to think that was just, hey, let's just throw a crack in there. And then, let's just say that was the North then. So,
yeah.
If this was seasons 1 through 4, I'd be like, that was incredible symbolism. But now it's like I don't quite trust them. Being like, I feel like they could just post production, edit the coffee cup back out, basically.
Yeah.
But another scene that I'm looking forward to here is Jaime and Cersei's last embrace, where apparently Jaime's right hand, actual hand, can be seen. They shot it without the gold hand.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah, so that is my next. I am waiting to see if I can see that. So right now I have the Mountain versus the Hound.
Just something else I just did not care about. Just didn't freaking care.
Nope, not at all.
I did enjoy the Hound saying, he's like, why the fuck won't you die?
Yes.
It's like the Hound's character never changed once throughout the whole thing.
He was a man with a mission, and then when the mission was over, but yeah, it was just like Clegane Bowl. It was just like whatever. I just don't care anymore. I just do not care.
And the thing is, that's something that's been hyped. That basically since they first met in the first season.
Yep. And it was just set in a backdrop of I just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean the imagery of when you first see the Mountain, looking down at the Hound, having the Mountain and Cersei on top of the steps, and in the background you see the dragon fly over. Beautiful,
yeah.
Like absolutely beautiful imagery.
Yeah, but there is one white elf in the room, and I was talking about this to Mr. Moist. Mr. Shawhan, did you notice that at certain points when the dragon was setting fire to the town, there were green explosions?
Yeah.
Did you know that was just poorly done CGI and not wildfire?
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Like I said, I felt the entire episode. It was literally just boom. Here we go. We're gonna throw a bunch of CGI in there. We've got a shitty story. I know what we'll do. Let's add some more CGI.
That's
The
not very well rendered.
Yeah,
Because I came to find out that it was not wildfire. It was just badly rendered normal fire. And I'm like, oh my God, just fucking kill me. Kill me now.
I mean,
Just
at least if
fucking
it
kill
was
me now.
wildfire, it would have made more sense because it could still
Well,
be.
it's like I mean, it's like I disagree because like just from a diehard book standpoint, Ares the second has wildfire stashes throughout the city that weren't burned by Cersei, weren't burned by anybody. So that's why I'm like some of them, and if you look congruently where they're blowing up from, I'm like it makes sense, and it's alluded to throughout the show, especially like seasons 2 and 3, with Tyrion talking, and especially season 2 with Tyrion talking about the defenses of the Blackwater. He even references like, oh, there's stuff still hidden here from Ares.
Yeah, and he used it, but it pretty much all been accounted for by the Maesters at that point.
So, I mean, I am from a book standpoint, I am hoping that's what it is. So I'm letting it slide because I'm like, it's a good callback to the Mad King for the Mad Queen. It's like she's finishing her father's business. She's finishing what her father couldn't finish in the burn them all before the Kingslayer happened. And also, right now, there is a fact that an entire freaking steeple just crashes down in the street. I just watched that part right now, and somehow Arya gets out of it when she's standing right next to it.
Plot.
I don't get it.
Just proof they were in a huge hurry to be done with it, and
shit, Adam, did Daenerys show up there? Holy hell!
Yep, it's a burning. Every time we're doing one of these shows, I've always got a fire. You know that.
Oh yeah.
I was seriously expecting at one point that Arya was actually going to get killed by friendly fire. I thought she was going to get fragged.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have been powerful if she gets killed by Daenerys by Drogon. That would have been. I mean, well, it should have happened about 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
But
that's what I thought was going to happen too. Especially with the way it was going, it sure seemed that's what was going to happen.
And then she leads everybody out of safety right into the freaking Dothraki.
Yep. Oh, you're safe. Nope, you're fucked.
It's like, no, it's like you're screwed. Oh, you just survived a Dothraki charge, but oh wait, here's Drogon coming to show up.
Yeah, and that big fireball where she ducks, and you just see fire everywhere. It's like, she should be dead.
That's about to happen right now, and everybody else is charged as hell.
And yeah, she's just totally fine.
Yeah, I mean, I it's just like, yeah, right here, about ready to see it. And it's just, yeah, I mean, she's completely covered in fire. Completely covered. And here I am at Jaime and Cersei's death. I mean, it's just insane.
I would have rather see the Mad Queen kill them both. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would have loved to see
kill Jaime.
Have Jaime and Cersei like somehow out in the open, and like just have Daenerys like land in front with Drogon, and have her just look at them and her just say Dracarys.
I mean, even put a ring of fire around their asses and make them roast.
Yeah, just a face-to-face death with the character. All I want. Even if it was Arya that killed both of them, I wouldn't even give a shit at this point. Going back, it's like I just wanted them to have to face another character that, especially that Cersei has wronged.
Yeah.
And look them in the eye as she died.
I mean, the best, I have to agree, though. Sir Gregor, stay by your queen. Yeah, that didn't happen.
No, he didn't give a hell. He didn't give 2 shits.
Nope. I mean, we've waited forever to see them fight. I just wish it would have been a little bit longer and a little bit less of the other shit. The wall coming down, that was great. Seeing the Lannister army throw their arms down before the bells are even ringing. Cersei saying, "Our army will fight harder," and they're all like, "Yeah, fuck this, we're done."
Like, yeah, we're not doing that. Hey, Mr. Peabody, welcome to the chat here. Good to see that you're here. Hope everything
Mr.
is
Peabody.
going well in the land down under. Hopefully, things are going better down in the land down under than they are in Game of Thrones right now.
Hey, it's got to be better.
Oh man, yeah. But yeah, I'll probably end the stream here by 9:30 or so because I am going to watch Chernobyl, which I believe is airing right now. But I will just catch the replay here.
Yeah, I think it started at 9, buddy.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
I'll just click on play episode 1 then.
All right, well, I'm gonna bounce out because I have dinner made, and I don't think you guys want to listen to me eating.
Hey,
so,
Jeff, good hearing from you again, my friend.
Yep. Hey, Jeff,
always.
thanks for joining, man.
Fun as always, gentlemen. Fun as always. And we'll probably have to do one once this train wreck is done.
Especially if what happens next week is supposed to happen.
Oh God, if it does, just expect me to be about as angry as Doomcock.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I am going to go full rage mode.
There'll be a lot of live streams next week. Let's just say that.
Yeah. All right. See you guys later.
All right, see
take care, Jeff.
Yep. Yeah, and Mr. Peabody, we have been talking about episode 5 here. It might subvert your expectations, just to say the least. So I don't want to give you too many spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. Make sure you see it as soon as possible because we got the last episode coming up this Sunday. But it's is a meteor going to hit King's Landing? Yeah, similar to it. Not necessarily here, but you're in the ballpark. Let's just say that.
Without having seen it in forever, he's still in the ballpark.
Yeah.
I didn't message you last night because I was in just a shock of disfucking belief.
Yeah.
You know, I rewatched it today just in case it was just me.
Hell, I rewatched half of it last night.
It wasn't just me. You know, like you said, there's a couple good parts, but overall, once again, I say you could take every episode we've had so far, cut it, trim it, get the garbage out of there, and you've got
like 3
one
episodes
strong
so
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel we've been robbed. We were owed at least 5 more, even though we only get 1 more.
And
but it is what it is.
Well, what'll make me upset is if we do find out, and that is confirmed, because I know Black Angus, Jeff, Nerdrotic, Mahler, a bunch of people have been hearing these leaks or whatever from some of their contacts that they have that are in these organizations or whatever. And just on Twitter, it's getting out that HBO offered 2 more full seasons, 10 episodes each, and as much money as they wanted to finish this. And if that comes out, that both D and D just like, let's just get this done in 13 episodes.
Oh yeah, Dumb and Dumber.
8, people are gonna be pissed.
Well, it shouldn't shock them because they were offered the Star Wars shit, and
there's another thing we can blame on Lucasfilm. There we go. Star Wars irked its way over into one of the greatest fantasy television series of all time and somehow ruined it.
That's how I'm looking at it, because it was different before they offered, all of a sudden we hear, oh, we're going to give the Game of Thrones guys, their own trilogies, and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then now we're just watching 5 episodes of complete garbage. Game of Thrones, as Doomcock had said, shout out to the Pop, the Wiener Dog clan, whose birthday is Wednesday. It just, I haven't heard a lot from Neurotic or a couple of the other people. I did watch Doomcock's video earlier today. That's about all I did. I've kept my nose out of YouTube and all the stuff so that we could do this, because all I did was watch it. I know you catch up on stuff, so it's more fun to hear your takes and then go back and see what everybody else is saying. But just my own opinion. I feel raped. I feel robbed after all this time. We've got 8 seasons that's taken 10 fucking years because they decided to take extended leaves and a year and a half to get where we're at. For what? To piss all over their? I mean, literally, they're pulling their cocks out, pissing all over the characters and what we've built them up to. For what? Star Wars? Just because? Hey, we're done. Assholes.
Yeah, I mean it's disheartening to say the least. I mean, and like what we both said, we're not gonna not ever be not fans of this show.
Oh no, I mean,
this will forever be one of my top 3 favorite shows of all time, and I will still be able to go back and rewatch this series, even as bad as season 8 has been. I'll still be able to rewatch and binge watch this series like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I've loved it. I've been there since the beginning.
You know,
the shows. It's got me to the point that I'm going to get the books, like on iPad or whatever, because it's easier to read the digital stuff on my tablet than it is to read an actual book. Because I can adjust the print and I can turn it into dark mode. And as weird as it sounds, with the vision problems I have, it's easier to read it reverse, where it's with white writing, than it is to do a white page with black writing.
Mr. Peabody in the chat. That was good. You want a complete garbage? They are advertising a new season of Grey's Anatomy. So yeah, I wasn't laughing at what you were saying there, Adam. I just saw that comment. I just started laughing.
Mr. Peabody, my mate from the upside down.
Always man,
to see you in the chat. Or rather, good thing that Master Moist is reading it, because I don't have it up, because I am also on my phone, so that I could have good reception as I'm out here, playing with the fire, because I got to have a fire when we're talking Game of Thrones. Or as Doomcock says, Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So, well, fellas, I think I'm going to end this stream here, and I'm going to check out. I'm going to start watching the new episode of Chernobyl. So if you guys haven't seen Chernobyl, watching this now in the present or in the past, make sure to check out Chernobyl, 5-part miniseries on Game of Thrones on HBO. Mondays at 9:00. So next Monday, the day after you have been disappointed by the series finale of Game of Thrones, make sure you check out Chernobyl episode 3.
Come and check us out first, then watch Chernobyl, because you know damn well we'll be doing an episode next Monday.
Oh hell, we might be doing
a pre-show on Sunday, because that is what we do.
Yeah, and we had a pre-show record. I think I looked at the video today, and there was like 125 views. I was like, wow, holy shit!
And they weren't all from me.
Yeah, I know they weren't all from you. Yeah, they weren't all from me. I mean, so. Definitely gonna be doing a pre-show stream. Maybe we'll do I don't know, maybe we'll try to go a little earlier, live around 6 or so. Maybe do like a 2 or 3 hour live stream. Try to get as many people in as possible that have watched the show, and just talk about it. And the thing is, next week it's the end. Let's not just talk about the bad, but let's bring up the damn good stuff that we had in seasons 1 through 4. Battle of the Bastards, The Winds of Winter. We don't have to talk all bad. We can talk some good and then get disappointed. But let's remember the good times that we've had.
Most definitely.
So, with that being said, nuke the Dragon Lady, Mr. Peabody says. But on that note, I think that the superfan Adam Shawhand and I are going to close out. And thank you from the chat for joining. I know Exaggeration Nation was in, Mary, and Mr. Peabody, our best friend from the land down under. I hope that when you do see episode 5, it does not subvert your expectations by too much, but I believe that it will. With that being said, folks, I would like to wish you all on the East Coast of the States a very good evening, and then I would say the night is dark and full of terrors, but I guess the Lord of Light just kind of abandoned us, so I guess that doesn't matter anymore. So that being said, I will probably see you guys this Sunday for a Game of Thrones series finale preview show.